Hey everybody, today this is Vicki Davis on Cool Cat Teacher TV, and we're talking to Betsy Wills, who is the founder of YouScience. So Betsy, tell us a little bit about YouScience and the dream and the idea behind it.
Okay, thanks, Vicki. YouScience is basically a breakthrough in the world of career development and actually personal development. It's a brand new online tool that brings together the very best in discovering people's interests, as well as what's more important is their natural strengths or aptitudes. And what's unique about YouScience is we don't measure your aptitudes by asking you your own opinion, as is typical for things like Myers-Briggs or interest survey, which is normally given in high school. We actually have you perform work samples, and we can actually psychometrically measure exactly what your strengths are in the world of the most important things with regards to your education and work. So these things are like your spatial ability, your inductive reasoning skills, your actual vocabulary, your memory for design, your memory for words. So it's all across the spectrum of the things that you're going to really naturally use in work and the things you're going to develop in your education.
Now, Betsy, you said that some of the tests, when you and I were talking before the show, that some of the tests that the students or me, because I'm going to do this too, take can be frustrating. Why is that?
Well, that's actually by design, Vicki. The way you assess people for these natural innate abilities, which is really, again, your potential to learn something, is you push them in these work samples to the point of frustration. So it's not like a test where it's high stakes or it's you're in or you're out. We're actually discovering where your strong points are and where your weak points are, because that combination is what makes you unique and will make you very strong in certain types of pursuits and jobs.
So I know that you're going to be giving us a test drive here in a moment, and if you want to go
Uh,
ahead and bring your screen share up while I'm
sure,
asking this question.
sure.
So the way I understand it, my students are going to be taking this next Thursday, the day before we get out for Christmas break, and then within 24 hours, they're going to have a 50-page report about themselves that will come over their email. So what are the kind of things that are going to be in that report?
Okay, well, great. What we're going to be showing them, we're going to assess again these interests people have, which is what they enjoy, and that is the only self-reported aspect of the assessment. It lasts about 20 minutes. It asks you, the things you prefer doing. But the bulk of the test is about what you will do well, what your potential is, what your aptitudes are. So what we're looking for is the intersection between your aptitudes, which are interesting because, Vicki, they don't change. By the time we're 16, they are stable in all of us. And then looking at your interest as well, and then what the world needs for you to do. So what we're ideally looking for is where your best fit is going to be, as you see here on the screen. Now, I'm going to pull up the results page so you can get a sense of how thorough this is. Again, it's a 57-page report. We look at your aptitudes, just to give you an example, your visual comparison speed, which has a lot to do with actually how you do on standardized tests, interestingly enough. And you may discover that you need more practice on those standardized tests. I mean, obviously everybody thinks they need more practice, but this will give you a clear indication of what's going on. We look at your computation skills, your numerical reasoning skills, which is your ability to work with numbers. We look at your spatial visualization, your inductive reasoning, your sequential reasoning. So let me show you one of those results page and sort of a sample of what the assessment looks like. This is a reminder of what the test looks like, and they're kind of like games. You'll be given a series in this particular exercise to put into order, like head, leg, and then toes would go next, and then arm and fingers. And this is just showing how quickly and accurately
Okay,
you
now
can.
I'm not seeing, did you swap your screen? I'm still seeing the slash slide.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Let me try this screen share one more time.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. All
because I
right.
want to see this.
Absolutely.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
Okay. Let's hopefully I can see it. But anyway, yes. So now can you see it? Just
Yes.
checking. Okay, so again, back to this. This is an example of the exercise we'll be doing. So we'll look at, you'll be asked to put these words into place in order. So it's like a game, but it will stress you because they'll get more and more difficult. But again, that's by design. So stick with it, give it your whole effort. You really don't know how you're doing in the process of this assessment. So don't be, frustrated by the fact that it may seem hard. I will tell you that some of the exercises will make you feel like throwing the computer out the window, as I said, but just, keep your chin up and stay with it. I'm not able to scroll down here, actually, so let me see if I can switch screens for just a second, because I do want to show you these important things. We'll also be looking at, can you see the screen here?
I can.
Okay, tips for success. We'll be giving you lots of good advice to use these different aptitudes in ways that can really impact you going forward. So all the advice is positive. It's a way to really realize your potential and be the most productive student and most productive person at work that you can be. So again, the assessment will give you a 57-page report all about you. Now the neat thing is, as well, you'll be able to continue to go online and use this information for years. It's foundational information that can help you make decisions not only about your career, but also, really about your major, your decisions around your, I'm sorry, can you see me now? I'm back on the screen, I hope.
I'm still seeing your screen share.
Okay.
But now, anyway, let me ask you this while you're getting into maybe you want to screen share and unscreen share it again, so we'll see you. But I know you have 2 kids in college. How has the program impacted their decision making? And I'm still seeing your screen instead of you.
Okay. Well, I'll go back to it and unshare it, I hope. I'm not
sure.
There
we go.
Okay, sorry. So yes, exactly. All right, I'll tell you a little story about myself. My daughter, Mead, I was begging for her to be an orthodontist, and I should know better. But all her life, she had braces 4 times, and she was fascinated when she went to the orthodontist, and she was a very, very good student. And so I'd always kind of lay my own needs on her, and I'd be like, well, you should be an orthodontist because you could work 2 days a week, stay home with your kids. It just makes sense, right? So when she went and took this assessment, she actually came back with very little spatial ability, which is very, very important if you're going to be an orthodontist. And her sense of relief alone was so great. But what we found out about her as well is that she has a great facility for foreign language. So currently she's at the University of Texas as a junior studying Syrian Arabic, if you can believe that. But that's a very, very marketable skill that she'll be able to take forward. My son, on the other hand, had a lot of spatial ability. I mean, by the time he was, 7, it seemed like he was building the Taj Mahal out of Legos. So, very clearly had an interest in this. And his father's an architect. Some of these natural abilities are heritable, but we tend to always look at children as some version of ourselves. And so the conversations that understanding your natural abilities can bring to the table between parents and young people is so valuable and gives you sort of a third look at one another, and a lot of empathy and love can come out of it. So it's invaluable in that way.
Excellent. Now, I know that, the particular program that my students are participating in, they'll actually get all this information will be in a bound book. It'll be sent to them at home to go through with their parents. And you've actually said that it will help kids as they interview for jobs because they'll really understand their strengths a bit better. It's kind of, how does that work?
Well, there's, as I said, lots and lots of reports, but let's go to the career section. I hope you can see that here. Are you able to see the screen?
I can.
Okay, so once you've gotten the results, and as I said, there's 57-page report that'll come out, but there's also a match between you and all the different careers that might be optimal for you. So what you see here is a list of different careers that would be, helpful for you to pursue based on your unique set of aptitudes. So I'm having a little bit of trouble, and I apologize, flipping back and forth once I show it to you, but let me show you this screen.
I see it.
Oh, you can see the orange balls coming up?
I see the yes, I do. I see the aptitude test.
Okay, great. So your aptitude fit analysis. This is an amazing thing. The U.S. government mapped every single job. This is just the job of editor right here. against every single aptitude that we tested. And they've tested millions of people to get this information. It's very good data. The orange dot is actually how I scored on the aptitude assessments. And you can see it's not good or bad to score. You know, these don't mean high or low, good, bad. They really are neutral, because someone with high idea generation, as an example, which is what I have, tend to make very good teachers, journalists, salespeople, marketers. They don't make good pilots, okay? So again, it doesn't put you out of a career not to be high or to be low in an aptitude. It actually can unlock that information for you. So we showed you the why, and you can spend hours understanding what types of jobs would be good fits for you. Now, what's really amazing, too, is from the standpoint of a job interview, we brought all the information to bear in one place. So this is just the example of editor. We show you what editors do. We give you other careers that are similar to being an editor. So if that one sounds interesting to you, we want you to explore those that might be related to that. In interviewing for a job, we've actually given you the core tasks that editors do. So do these things, these activities, sound interesting to me? And if I'm preparing for an informational interview or a job interview, we've done all the work for you to give you sort of a cheat sheet. Now let's go to education. This can be very motivating for a student to understand, okay, I want to pursue one of these types of jobs as an editor. What percentage of them have bachelor's degrees? Or, do I only need a high school diploma? And there's all types of jobs in here. I know a lot of your students are really more college bound, but obviously not everybody is, nor needs to be. We can look at the majors that would be good fits for this type of job. In this case, as an editor, English language is one of the potential majors, and you can see a lot of different optionalities. So if I major in English and change my mind, these are some other things that I could easily pursue. We also get into the salary. Now this is a big deal because a lot of times we're making decisions in a vacuum. So we've taken all those potential jobs and mapped them to the growth industries. So let's look at Georgia here. I'm sorry, that's not Georgia. I should know better. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's look at Georgia. And you can see jobs for editors. It's a growth industry, so that's a good place to be looking if you plan to stay in Georgia. These are the typical starting salaries, mid-range, and this is really the top 90%. Obviously, anyone can be a millionaire. You can become the editor of the Atlanta Constitution, and you're going to make more than $90,000. But we just break it down into something that's, general for people. We also kind of show you where you can go look for those types of jobs or internships. Okay.
Excellent. I'm very impressed. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what I know. I would not be a pilot. I'll probably be high on teacher, but it makes all of us curious. So do you have people of all ages taking the program now?
We do. Really, there's no wrong age for, let me see if I can get back here and talk to you some more. Do you see me now? Am I back?
I don't see you back yet, but maybe you'll be back in a minute, or you can undo it and redo it.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is...
hold on just 1 second, please.
Absolutely. I'm doing something for the seniors right now. I have to do this, and then I'll help you, okay?
Okay. Yeah, this is a very busy study hall. Lots of projects going on right now.
Important work, I understand.
Yeah.
So you were asking me about people of all ages taking YouScience, and absolutely. But what we really talk about is that YouScience can most help people who are basically in their defining decade. And we say this is when you're making, the 10 years between maybe 17 years old and 30, maybe that's not 10 years, 13 years. But this is when you're making your most important, impactful, expensive, and often irreversible decisions. So it's so much more than just where should I go to college and what should my job be. It's really foundational information to help you make good choices that are really geared personally to you. Because, Vicki, what we find is people make the most haphazard decisions around careers and jobs. They'll sit next to someone on an airplane and they'll tell them to be a medical transcriptionist because it pays well, and they'll do it. And then they wake up 10 years later, not very happy and not fulfilled.
And there's no science behind it. They're just kind of, stabbing in the dark. And
exactly.
We need to be a little more intentional. I mean, these lives are important to us. They're our only lives we have, and so why not, take a little bit of time we spend all this money on school, but how much time do we spend trying to know what we should be studying?
That's exactly right. And the fact of the matter is, if you play to these real strengths that you have and this combination of strengths, you're going to be both successful, happy, fulfilled, and you'll also find hobbies and avocations that you can use to sort of backfill, because let's face it, no job's perfect, and we're all going to make trade-offs through our lives. So learning how to do that successfully is also very, very important. So this understanding of your natural abilities and your aptitudes and learning it in a scientific, real way has true value.
Now, I know when we're done, the seniors are going to get that 57-page report, and they're going to get it sent to their house. But then there's also, is there a book or is there some other information? I know we're going to be meeting with our parents, and you're going to kind of help us go over and understand what they've learned.
Right.
What is in it for parents? So their parents have their kids go through this program, and what do parents get out of it?
Well, parents, can get a tremendous amount out of it, because we've built not only that report, which they'll enjoy reading about their young person, because largely we know our children very well, but we'll reveal some things and advice to them that sometimes it's good to hear a third party give them. But also there's another report that I love called My Guide, and in that guide we've given the student first-person statements about themselves. So what we want them to do is take those first-person statements and really own them, practice talking about themselves in a convincing way. And when they read these statements that they've learned from their aptitudes, I know that they find it very authentic, because they know they couldn't game our assessment. The other thing is we provide a list of words that they could use in their resume or in their letters for college application to be even more successful in describing themselves. Because colleges and hiring managers are looking for people who have a good sense of self, who are trainable, and who are eager to learn. So there's many aspects that will allow the parent to engage more fully with their young person and make it real.
Now, there's some people who, I'll say mistakenly, think they're good at everything, and then there's some people who think that they're not good at anything. I mean, do you ever have anybody who goes through the program and it's like they're not a fit for anything?
Never, of course not. No, and that's the fallacy, of course. I mean, everyone has great talents, but school, unfortunately, often just celebrates a pretty narrow band of things. School's largely built around having a good memory. Oftentimes, I personally don't have a very good memory. I have to work harder to remember people's names, to remember terms. Foreign language was hard for me. But what I discovered in learning about my aptitudes, as an example, is I have a very high rate of ideas. And I do want to give this example, if you don't mind, because I think it illustrates what I'm talking about. So, if you wake me up in the morning and you hand me a paperclip, and you say, what can I do with this paperclip, Vicki? And I know you probably have this as well. I can spew out a million things about what we could do. We're going to make dollhouse coat hangers. We're going to make robot hair. We're going to, put these papers together. It's an endless stream. And so, sometimes at night I just have to have like a glass of warm milk to calm this down in myself. But it doesn't mean my ideas are necessarily any good. It just means I've got a very high rate of them. So when you put me in a course like public speaking instead of, physics, I'm going to excel. And so it doesn't mean I've got the skill to be a public speaker if I don't have courses along that line, but I can develop them, and it's going to feel like falling off a log. So that's what we're unlocking, is what is your potential to learn these things and really excel and be happy doing it. So once I can tell you that, where you've got these unique strengths, it becomes extremely motivating, and you want to learn.
So let's finish up by, kind of give us an overview of where you're seeing people use YouScience. Are these being used in schools with their seniors, or how is YouScience being used?
Well, some very savvy high schools have been early adopters. We're so thrilled that it's going to be at your school. Because it can help people, again, make these decisions at a time when they're already making big investments in their next step. So the optimal time really is before you go to college, but there's no bad time to do it. What we do see is a lot of juniors in college, unfortunately, coming to us, and they entered college pre-med because they were good in science, but they didn't really know why they wanted to do it, and they, wake up as a junior and they decide that's not really what they wanted to do. And unfortunately, the percentage of people who are taking 6 years to graduate is well over 50% right now, and that gets expensive. So ideally, we'd like to see people take it as early as 17 years old, but there's no bad time. I took it for the first time when I was 32. We see a lot of career changers doing it as well. We've even seen some parents taking it with their young person because they're at pivot points in their careers. But optimally, it's going to be a great asset the earlier you do it.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited about having my seniors take it. I'm excited about taking it myself, and my own children who are in college are going to take it. I think it's going to answer a lot of questions for us. So I hope everybody watching, if you've made it to this point, head on over to YouScience, click Contact Us if you have any questions about the program. I'm really excited about having it here at our school at Westwood, and thanks for your time today, Betsy.
Thank you, Vicki. Good luck. Can't wait to visit with your group after you're finished with the assessment.